So we've completed our Cuddly Coin Purse, the crochet part, and now it is time to line it with our fabric and add a zipper. So this is the sewing tutorial. I am not a professional with sewing. I've just kind of learned as I've gone, so this is what works for me. But if you want more professional advice, you may want to look elsewhere. But I find that this technique works pretty well, and I hope you find it useful too. So the first thing we need to do is find a piece of fabric or cut something to size. I'm using this plain brown fabric. And essentially you want to fold it in half so that the bottom of the fabric would be at the bottom of your bag, and then we don't have to sew that edge. And the size should be approximately the size of your crochet bag. I do leave a little bit extra at the top just to give me some extra wiggle room, especially when sewing the zipper on, but you really don't need it to be much larger because it's such a thick yarn and we don't want to have an excess of fabric inside. So this is the size that I've cut. And the first step from here is to attach it to our zipper. This is a 7-inch zipper by Coats & Clark. So to attach it to the zipper, you want to place the zipper upside down on the table with the zipper on the left side. Open up your fabric. Now mine is brown on both sides, but if you are using something that has maybe a pattern on one side, you definitely want to put whatever will be the inside of your bag that people will see facing down. And we are going to first attach the fabric to the upper part of the zipper here. So you're going to sew that either by hand or with your machine, just that part first. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew that on, and then I will meet you back here. As you can see, I've sewn my first edge to the zipper, and this is what it looks like from this side. So now we need to sew the other side, and to do this, we are going to take our zipper, face it upward in with the zipper on your right hand, and flip it over like this. And then we're going to fold the fabric so that it lines up with the edge of our zipper. And now we're going to sew along this upper edge here. So I'm going to sew that and I will get back to you. Now that I've sewn both sides, you can see it looks the same on both sides here. You can actually open it up and take a peek. And this is what the inside looks like so far. You've got a nice clean edge on the inside. And this part we're going to sew directly into our crochet bag. But first we need to finish sewing the sides. So what I like to do here is align your bag, and you may want to draw a line to guide you where you want to sew. I'm probably going to sew a curved line here and then cut off the excess fabric. So you can use chalk or whatever you prefer, or you can do it by eye. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use this pen just as a guide and mark it. And I'm going to actually sew a little bit inside that line. I'll probably sew along here, okay? So sew that next, and I will meet you back here. So now I have my pouch sewn together. As I said, I'm not an expert at sewing, but this seems to work pretty well for me. So I'm gonna open that up just so you can take a peek inside. You have a nice finished pouch inside. All the seams are kind of hidden. And now we can put it inside of our crochet bag. Actually, I'm gonna trim off these little corners here, just so we don't have too much excess yarn, fabric. So we already have a lot of yarn tails in there, as we know. Okay, so I'm gonna put that inside. Just make sure that your pouch is centered inside of your crochet piece. I'm gonna zip this shut. And that way we can figure out where the start and finish of our zipper needs to be, because we're just going to tuck the excess zipper inside and we will sew it into place by hand. So this needs to be open just a bit, and it looks like it needs to be about here into place. So what I like to do is unzip it first and then go around, and we're going to clip it to the crochet piece at a couple of different spots just to hold it securely in place so that it doesn't move around while we're sewing it. And we're gonna sew it by hand. So I think that gives a really nice and tidy finish. These are the only clips I have at the moment, but they should work just fine. Just gonna pin one on each side. If you have more, that would be great, but this is all I have at the moment. Now I have a thread with a needle, and we're ready to start hand sewing this liner in. We're going to start over here on this corner with the zipper, where the zipper starts. I like to start from here because I think it makes it easy to make sure that you have it centered in the bag. So make sure that you have your pouch in there as wide open as you need it to be, so that we make sure that we sew this edge correctly. So the first thing I need to do is attach the thread to the bag. So we're going to actually put the yarn into the crochet piece. Now we don't want to go all the way through. We're just going to go through the inside here. Oop, went a little bit too far. And I'm going to secure it with a knot. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth between sewing through the crochet piece and then sewing through the zipper. To go through the zipper, we're going to go through the piece that is not attached to the fabric. So if you look at where our sew line is, it's here. So we're going to go into this part of the zipper and come back out. Now the first few stitches might feel a little bit fiddly, but once you get it started, it will feel nice and secure after a bit. So I went into the zipper, and now I go back into the crochet piece. And you could do this stitch by stitch, and following your crochet piece, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then we're going to go back into the zipper. Now just make sure you don't go through the fabric, because you definitely don't want to see this seam from the inside of your bag. You want to have that nice clean edge in there. So you just want to go on the side that doesn't have the fabric, if that makes sense. Okay, go back into your crochet piece. I'm just going to get a few stitches going here so you can see how nice this looks. And back into the zipper. I'm gonna do a few more stitches and then I'll show you the cross. Okay. This is our finished pouch. It's been all sewn together. Looks beautiful. Can't even see the stitches or the seams. It just looks really classy. And that's it. If you're interested in seeing how we can do this with hot glue instead, it's actually a little bit of a faster process. And I can show you, this is an example of one that was assembled with hot glue, so there's no sewing required at all. You can see the end product is actually just the same, but the process is a little bit faster. So you might find that helpful, especially if you're making these for markets and you want to be able to have a little bit of a lower price point with less time going into making each piece. You might want to consider that. So I'll link that video in the caption for you as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.